Hey, how's it going? Today I'm going to be talking about Cobra Effect and what this concept is. If any takeaways, it would be one of those reasons why I myself and I would definitely recommend others never rely on one thing. So if that would be some of the platforms out there that would be posting some of the information on those platforms as well as or perhaps one website, one person, and never rely on one thing, right? So to get for you to achieve where you definitely depending on where you are going, right, what kind of goals you might set for yourself. If any takeaways, that would be my takeaways and some of the experience that I might have with some of the platforms out there that I'm currently working with. And if any takeaways, I already know that this is something that's gonna if not happen soon. It's just a matter of time, right? So some of the projects will come and go. It just never if you can perhaps at least two if I need to put it into other terms, right? So if you are uploading videos, right, yeah, on any websites, perhaps you should consider uploading your videos on number of websites, right? So 3 or 4 if you can. So then you might protect yourself and your brand from any particular platform of well, whatever there might be within the terms and conditions of using that platform, right? So that would be takeaway. The Cobra Effect is a concept in economics and public policy that illustrates how well intentioned efforts to solve the problem can sometimes lead to unintended and undesirable consequences. This phenomenon often occurs when policymakers and authorities implement measures or incentives to address particular issue without truly considering the complex interactions and responses of individuals and the environment, right? So that's very big words, I guess, but this is the concept, right? So even the organizations or some of the platforms might implement some changes within the policies, right? Might perhaps at some point, if I'm gonna have to write down some of the policies, I would think, okay, right, that would work, but not necessary. Not necessary. People might have best intentions, but some of the policies, that's how it works, right? So how those policies would affect all the people within different platforms. Take a look at what this concept includes. It would be 4 points, 4 bullet points. Unintended consequences when government or organizations tries to solve the problem in may inadvertently create new problems or make the original problem even worse. Incentives often these unintended consequences arise from incentives or rewards that are put in place to encourage certain behavior. So carrot and stick, right? People respond to incentives and sometimes they may find ways to game the system to their advantages, right? Short-sightedness, number 3. Policymakers may fail to anticipate how people will react to new incentives, which can lead to counterproductive outcomes. Number 4. Lack of understanding. In some cases, policymakers may not have complete understanding of the problem they are trying to solve, leading to poorly designed solutions. So that's in just what a Cobra effect might be. But just to summarize this video, let me share a story with the people out there who are interested. I find this story very funny. I don't know about people out there. Let's take an illustration of what happened, right? That's the history. And some of the people. Well, this is what's happening, right? The classical example of Cobra effect originates from British colonial Indian during the 19th century. At the time, Delhi was known for having significant population of venomous cobras, which posed the threat of local populations. The British colonial government sought to address this problem by offering a bounty for each dead cobra brought to them. So, Oh, so that makes sense, right? On the paper, that makes sense. So whoever brought the cobra, so they can reduce perhaps population on cobras. That might work for wolves, I guess. And they said, oh, okay, so perhaps we tried. I don't know really. So there should be more wolves, I guess. But either way, whenever have they tried that, have someone suggested that, and they said, oh, that makes sense. Bring some cobras there. And they would receive a bounty, right? At first glance, this seemed like a practical solution. The bounty encouraged locals to kill cobras and submit them for a reward, those reducing the cobra population and providing income for those who participate. However, the unintended consequences soon became apparent. Instead of reducing the cobra population, the incentives to locals bounties led for some enterprising individuals to begin breeding cobras for the sole purpose of turning them into a reward. This completely undermined the government's original goal. Then the authorities realized that the cobra population had not decreased but in fact was growing due to these breeding efforts. They decided to cancel the bounty program. That's history, right? This cancellation unfortunately led to another unintended consequences. Those who were breeding cobras no longer had the incentive to keep and maintain them. As a result, they released their supply of cobras into the wild. This caused a sudden increase in cobra population in Delhi, making the situation even worse than before the government's intervention. So they instead of reducing, they have increased number of covers there. Uh, I'm not entirely sure how some of those platforms are operating, right? So the quick note: some of those platforms might have a script of everyone that I'm saying, so they might be able to pull out some of the words what I'm saying, and have different software solutions to understand those words and perhaps highlight my video or drag it down in recommended videos. So when I talk, I need to choose very carefully sometimes some of the words that I'm saying, as well as perhaps if I'm looking to promote any of the organizations, if using any particular words or anything, since there's a software out there or Big Brother always listening. So any takeaways, I guess. Just a quick summary, right? For people out there who are interested in learning more, I have published a book. Within this book, I'm sharing a lot of information with the people who are interested about where to begin then starting your own livestock Cobra enterprise. No, just focusing on the livestock, right, and how you can potentially build your enterprise and grow your enterprise without, if possible, perhaps there's some government incentives there as well to begin your enterprise, right? So whatever livestock you might be interested in, based on your region, right? So perhaps different regions might have different supply and demand up there. So in this book, I'm focusing on rotating glazing practices and where to begin. I'm sharing a lot of information with the people who are interested. This book potentially can save you a lot of money in trying to understand some other people and how they have accomplished some of the goals for themselves. You can find it in the description below as well as Top Reclass has it. Story of Cobra Effect is in the context to illustrate the importance of truly understanding the problem at hand, considering potential human behaviors and responses, and design incentives carefully to avoid making the problem worse. It serves as a powerful reminder that well-intended policies can have counterproductive outcomes if they are not well thought out and if the complex dynamics of human behavior are not taken into account. So I don't know how many of you have written any policies within your organization, but sometimes it can be very hard, if anything, as well as I mentioned to you before. Never rely on one thing, right? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.